In this video, we're taking a look at the best budget gear for your home studio, for your home recording in 2021. If it's your first time here, my name's Pete and this is Studio Live Today, where my goal is to help you create, record and release your best music. I do that through tips and tricks and tutorial videos and live shows just like this one. If that's your bag, consider subscribing. What you can do, if you want to play along at home, down below there, studiolivetoday.com/gear is my gear guide. Now, this is all of the gear that I use. We've got links up there to Amazon, Sweetwater, eBay, Thomann, and if you come on down here, this is all my current setup. So if you want to know what I use for an audio interface, for headphones, for guitars, for pianos, for microphones, for everything in between, you can actually find all that gear, and then we've got it categorized here. And wherever you are in the world, in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, you can actually jump straight in and find what you need. So studiolivetoday.com/gear is the place that you can head. And as I mentioned, those are affiliate links, meaning if you make a purchase, they break off a small chunk and send it my way. What we're going to go through today is two separate setups here. So we're going to look at setup number one, which is a portable setup using, spoiler alert, the iRig Pro I/O. So this is if you want to get into recording on your Mac, your PC, your iPhone, your iPad. You want the easiest, simplest setup. You don't want to think. You don't want to worry about powering things up. You don't want to worry about adapters and hubs and all the rest of it. We're then going to jump into number two, which is more of a fully fledged, fully featured kind of setup. And that's going to feature an audio interface, an actual monitor speakers, MIDI keyboard, and the like. So we're going to kind of go two ways because depending where you are and what you want, you may actually want to go a different direction. So that's what we're going to go through here. Before I do any gear video, though, I say this. Please use the gear you have right now to start creating, because gear shouldn't be what gets in the way of your creativity. Gear should simply enhance that. So as you learn over time, you can start building up your studio. And that's the other key point. You don't have to buy all this stuff at once. You can buy it piece by piece, and you can actually build out your studio that way. Once again, links to both of these setups are down in the description, and without any further ado, let's jump in and get started, shall we? So the first piece of kit that you generally need in a home studio setup is an audio interface. Now, if you want the ultimate in simplicity and flexibility, I actually recommend these, the iRig Pro I/O. There's two versions. There's this one, the single channel, and there's a 2-channel version as well. So if you need to record two microphones or a mic and guitar at the same time, you can get the 2-channel version there. And you can see right now it's about $150, and it usually sits around about that mark. Here is mine. Comes in a nice box here. I keep mine in the box so all the cables are together. The beauty of this is it doesn't require anything else, and it works with Mac, PC, iPhone, iPad. So it actually has the lightning cable and a USB cable and all your MIDI cables right there in the box. Yes, this thing does guitars, it does microphones, it does MIDI. It's got a whole bunch of features in here, has nice preamps, has the ability to set your input gain, and it's plug and play, and it's really good quality as well. So if you're looking for something and you're just getting started and you don't want any complexity, this is what I recommend. I recommend folks go for this, either the single channel version or the 2-channel version. And you can see over here, the single channel version right now, $150 here on Sweetwater, and links are down in the description. I just love the ease of use of this, that you've just got your MIDI, you've got your connector there that you plug all your different cables into. Once again, it comes with all 4 of these cables for MIDI and for your lightning, as well as your standard USB, which means it's going to be future compatible. If you get stuff that's just lightning right now for your mobile, that's not going to be great because lightning might not be around forever. You want longevity. So the standard USB is there as well. There's your combo jack, so you can plug in your microphones, you can plug in your guitars. Now, if you want to plug in stereo devices, you will need to go for the 2-channel model. So if we search here, just go iRig Pro Duo. And here's the thing, for I think it's about $40 more. Yeah, have a look at that. It's $170. Hey, grab this. At the moment, this is on a special deal for $170 right now. So you're only paying $20 extra. You get all of that, but you also get the you get the stereo out. So you get your line outputs there, and you get 2 combo jacks on the 2-channel version. So yeah, I would definitely go for that. So that's the first bit of kit that I would recommend for a home studio. The next thing that you generally need, and again, this will vary, but if you're recording guitars or vocals, acoustic guitars, any sort of acoustic instrument, you're going to need something to plug in to that wonderful audio interface. And my recommendation has been for a while this one, the Audio-Technica AT2020. There it is there, but here it is here. I never leave home without one. Well, I never come into the studio without one because it is just the best balance of quality and price that I've ever come across in a condenser microphone. It's around the $100 mark to buy these. They are solid as a rock. They are built like tanks. I know that's cliche, but they are built like tanks, and they just get a really good quality sound. My buddy Mike over at Creative Source did a shootout between these and some more expensive mics, some stuff from some other brands. This one just keeps coming out on top because it just gives you that really nice response, really good frequency range, and really good quality. And if you pair that up with, again, something like the iRig Pro IO, you can see that for $250, $270, you're getting yourself a pretty darn good setup straight away. And this is pretty much all you need. Grab yourself an XLR cable, plug this microphone into this device, and you got yourself a recording setup. And then whether you're on a Mac Pro or a MacBook or a PC laptop or a desktop or an iPhone or iPad, wherever you are, you got yourself some decent quality preamps, a good quality interface, and good recording ability. So that is the second part of our first setup. And the third part of our first setup is a decent set of cans. And the HD 280s, the Pros from Sennheiser, are what I've been using and recommending for probably about 3 or 4 years now. There's some on my head right now. I have a second pair right here because I never leave home without these either. And these ones have started, after 5+ years, they've started fraying a bit. And I said this last time I did a gear review, but I did you can buy a kit to replace these, and I just haven't got around to doing it yet. But there they are, the Sennheiser HD 280 Pros. I like these because they have a really nice flat frequency response. So when you're talking about monitoring in the home studio, you want things to have a flat response. You don't want the bass or the treble to be overly amped or hyped. You want to be able to get yourself a nice flat response so that you can learn your headphones, and then as you're mixing, you'll know how everything sounds. So headphones are good. Listen to music that you already listen to on the headphones that you use on your studio setup. That's a key thing here because you want to learn what good music sounds like so that when you're creating music, you can create good music as well. So that is all there is to it. If you wanted a simple setup, that's what I would go with. Get yourself an iRig Pro IO, grab yourself an Audio-Technica AT2020, and a set of Sennheiser HD280 Pros. If I put this in my backpack, that's gold, because wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, if I've got my iPhone or my iPad with me, this is my setup. And then, yeah, you can accessorize, you can go with mic stands, you can get XLR cables. All of that gear is also over at the Gear Guide. So if you do jump on over to Studio Live Today, that one, studiolivetoday.com/gear, you can check all of those out. So that's your simple approach, yeah? That's good if you're on the go. That's good if you've got a portable setup. What if you want to set yourself, you want to deck yourself out with more of a home studio, but you don't have $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 to spend? Well, you can get away with it for pretty much under $500 these days. It's pretty ridiculous the sort of gear you can buy. Let's jump in and go to setup number 2, which is our complete home studio setup. And it starts with this. It starts with the Steinberg UR22C. There it is there. Here it is here. I've unplugged it. It's usually plugged into my iPad Pro, but here it is right here in the flesh. Why do I love this interface and why do I keep recommending it over and over again? A lot of reasons. You've got 2 high-quality Yamaha D preamps right here on the front, which means that you can put 2 microphones in, you can put 2 guitars in, you can put a stereo line in. You've got a bunch of different options there, and you've got separate input gains on both of those. You have a mono monitoring function. Ever used a 2-channel interface and found that you're monitoring your one microphone on the left and your guitar on the right, and how annoying that is? Yeah, this thing solves that. Has a mono button. Very cool. You've got your mix there, so you can mix between direct monitoring for latency-free monitoring and monitoring through your DAW. So if you want to have complete latency-free, you can go that way. You want to blend them together, you can. You want to come straight through all your effects, you can do that too. Got a separate headphone jack there. You've got your input to high Z there, so you can plug your guitars in if you need them on an instrument level, your output there. But it's on the back that this one really shines, because going from right to left, you've got TRS balanced output. So that means if you're going out to monitor speakers, which we'll talk about in a moment, then you're going to get a good quality sound. We've got MIDI in and out. So you've got some older MIDI gear, you can plug it in and get MIDI in and out. You've got your phantom power there. That's pretty much on every interface, but this is where it shines. You've got multiple power sources here, so you can plug it in via USB or USB 3 or USB-C even, and power it straight from your Mac, your PC, your iPhone, your iPad. But if you're using a portable device, let's say you're using your iPhone that doesn't have a whole lot in the way of power, guess what? You can plug it in to a portable battery or to a power supply. Anything that provides 5 volts of DC over micro USB will power up the interface. And that's super important, especially if you're using things on mobile. And we'll talk about that in a moment, because there's a little bit of extra gear you need if you're going to use this setup with your iPhone or iPad, which we'll talk about in a moment. But the Steinberg UR22C for the win. Now, $190, Pete. That's a bit much. And you know what? I'm only ever recording one thing at a time. A microphone, a guitar. What if you want something a little bit lower cost, but still good quality? Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because the Steinberg UR12 is still available and it is still epic. It was one of my first interfaces I ever owned, and it just has everything going for it for a super affordable price. $109 here on Sweetwater right now. Once again, you get that Yamaha D-Pre, the same preamp on the 22C. By the way, all these are 24-bit 192 kilohertz, so you're not skimping on audio quality in the slightest. You've got the separate mic pre and the separate high Z jack. So the difference here is you can't record a stereo source and you can't record 2 microphones. But for a lot of folks, they just don't need it. One or the other is absolutely fine. You've got your input gain there for that one. You've got your output. You've got direct monitoring here, and you've got a headphone jack. So what are you missing? Well, you're missing the ability to do that mono monitoring. So you are going to sometimes, and look, you can fix this in most of your software. You can just mix it to mono and then just put everything down the middle if you're using something like GarageBand or any other DAW. But for some apps, it's going to put one on the left, one on the right. So it's a little bit of a trade-off there. If you flip around to the back of this one, here's the other trade-off. You've only got unbalanced output. So your outputs are RCA, unbalanced, still got 48 volts of phantom power, and you've still got that switchable power supply. So how cool is that? You can take this on the go with you, plug it in using that switchable power supply, and it can be powered up directly via your device, or you can power it via a third-party device like a portable battery. And I just find that super, super handy. And again, the quality you get out of these, the converters in there, the preamps in there are good. Let's pause to say something here, and that is this. If you get any other, because people say to me, oh, Pete, but I bought a Presonus, I bought an M Audio, I bought a Focusrite. If you're buying a single or a 2-channel interface, buy a brand name that's $100 plus, you really can't go wrong. This is the beautiful thing about home recording these days, is the Focusrite Scarlett series are excellent. The Presonus are excellent. The M Audio Fast Track series are excellent. Behringer makes some good stuff. So there's a lot of different options there. There's brands that you can actually go with if you don't want to go with Steinberg. It really doesn't make a heap of difference. Again, reason I like Steinberg, those Yamaha D-Pres I think sound really nice, especially paired with something like an Audio-Technica AT2020, and you've got that switchable power supply. No other interface I've come across has this, and this is a game changer, especially if you're a mobile creator, because it means that you can power up your interface a whole lot easier. Let's move on here. It's going to get easy from here, because guess what? I would still recommend this. If you're going to go with a more complete studio, the AT2020 is still what I would recommend. Now, there's other microphones that you can go for. And again, over at the Gear Guide here, I've got a bunch of different microphones that I recommend. The Samson CO1 is good, the MXL 550, a Shure SM57. There's a heap of different microphones there that can help you out. But if you are getting started and you want one multi-purpose all-rounder microphone that's going to help you out with everything, Audio-Technica AT2020 is it, in my opinion. And you can, again, do your look, because Rode make the NT1 and the NT1A. There's a heap of other microphones. As soon as you go up to the $200, $300 mark, you'll get more microphone. But it kind of comes to, I always compare this to wine. If you're buying a $5 bottle of wine or a $20 bottle of wine, you're going to hear a difference. So if you buy, well, you're going to taste the difference. If you buy a $20 mic from eBay, or compared to this $100 mic, there's going to be a considerable difference. This $100 mic to a $200 or $300 mic, yeah, it's kind of like wine. You've got to be a bit of a connoisseur to hear or taste the difference. So I still reckon the AT2020 is where it's at. And again, 81 reviews on Sweetwater, 4.5 star, kind of tells the story, doesn't it? Let's move on because this part's easy too. I'd still recommend getting a pair of the Sennheiser HD280 cans because that's going to give you that nice flat frequency response and balance that you want from your recordings, and it's going to help you mix. The other thing I didn't mention about these, they're closed back headphones, which means not only are they great for mixing and mastering, but if you're recording using a microphone, it means there's less sound coming out because they're closed back. It just means nothing's coming out the side here. Not much audio is going to go into your mic, and that's going to reduce what we call microphone bleed. You're not going to get that bleed going into your recordings. That is a good thing. So that's a plus of that as well. And the other thing I really like about these, I love me a curly cord. So I love a curly cord on these, especially if you're in the home studio. Nothing worse than walking away from your gear and then suddenly you're like, boom, and your thing pops out and you're like, oh gosh. And this is coming from a dude that's broken off a couple of jacks in his headphone jacks. My Zoom Live Track and my Focusrite Scarlett still have these things snapped off inside. So be very careful with that. The other thing I like is you got really nice high quality. These won't snap off because this is a nice screw-on plug. So you can plug it into your 3.5mm jack. So if you need to go into a 1/4 inch in most of your gear, you screw that on and you're good to go. So the HD280 Pros for the win, in my opinion. Let's move on here to our next thing. And this is my newest purchase in the home studio, and I'm super excited by this one. If you've been hanging around the channel, you've probably seen me review these recently. And that is these ones, the PreSonus Eris E3.5 Near Field Studio Monitors. A pair of them for $100, $99.95 currently. They normally sit around that $100 to $120 mark, and they are so good. I was blown away by these. I used to use KRK Rocket 4s, and I think I paid about $500 for the pair of those. That's Australian money, so they're about $300 US, $300 to $350. When I saw these and I saw people continually recommending them, I was like, you cannot tell me that a 3.5-inch speaker that costs $100 for a pair is going to come anywhere near a 4-inch speaker that costs $400 or $500. But they do. They actually crush it. Now, you can check out my full review if you go over to the channel. Just search Pete John's PreSonus. You'll find them there. But these things are great. They've got on the front there, you've got your volume control and your power switch. You've got your aux in and your headphone jack, which is super handy. But again, around the back here, this is where the pro features come in. Because look at this. You've actually got acoustic tuning on these for your bass and your treble. You've got TRS, so full TRS input. So if you pair these with this, which is what I do, with my Steinberg UR22C, you can go straight out, TRS balanced out to TRS balanced in. You're getting the optimal quality and the best possible shielding on that signal going out there. You've also got RCA, so you can plug in other gear with RCA there, and yeah, it's an all-round package. Now, some people will poo-poo these because they're like, oh, they're not both powered speakers. You're using just speaker cable to run from the left to the right. I don't like that. They're not separately amplified. Yeah, fair enough. And you know what? If you're comparing these to, a set of Yamaha or a set of Mackie 8 inches that are going to cost you $1,000, $2,000, sure. But if you're in the home studio and you're getting started, these things are just dynamite. And I had to buy them. I paid for them myself. I bought a set from Amazon, I bought a set from Amazon, and they are just great. Like, they do the job. Really good sound, really nice. If you're looking to get your first pair of monitor speakers, I cannot recommend these highly enough. And again, don't take my word for it. 4.5 stars, 4.7 out of 5 across 9,300 ratings. And look at those 5 stars. I'm not the only one that raves about these things. They are the bomb diggity when it comes to monitor speakers here in your home studio. Let's move on, because that may be enough for you. If you're kitting out a home studio, that may be enough for what you need. But if you're creating electronic music, or even if you're doing acoustic music and you want the ability to play some piano, some virtual instruments, some strings, you're going to need a keyboard controller. I've tried out a bunch. I keep coming back to this one. It's back there somewhere. You can't see it. It's behind my big head. But it is this one here. It is the M Audio Keystation. So the Keystation series, there's a bunch of different Keystation series. This one I think is the best balance because it's 49 key. They're touch-sensitive keys. They're not weighted, so you're going to get that sort of lighter plasticky feel. You can go up to the 61 or the 88 key versions, which are weighted. They're more in the $200 to $300 range. But if you're getting started, again, $119 for this one. You can get it as cheap as about $99 sometimes, but it usually sits around that $120 mark. And this thing is just great. Pitch bend modulation wheels there. You've got all your controls for your octave and for your volume. And it is just a simple keyboard that does the job. Around the back here, you've got your sustain pedal you can plug in. It's USB powered. And that's it. It doesn't have the bells and whistles. It's not going to do all of your fancy stuff. There's no pads on here. There's no knobs and dials. So if you want more of that, then yeah, you can check out the stuff from Akai and from other brands. But the M Audio Key Station, if you're just looking to play some keys and you just want something that's going to do the job, this is what I would go with. Now the M Audio, I'll just find the other one. M Audio Key Station. There is the 69, as I mentioned. There is also the smaller version. So again, if you don't have a lot of space and you're using a small home studio, check out this little dude. This one is super exciting. The M Audio Mini 32. So 32 mini keys, but again, you get your volume control, you get your ability to change your octaves up and down, you get your sustain button there, so you don't have quite the same functionality when we go around the back here. It's just got a simple mini USB plug that goes in there. But again, if you're getting started and you just want the ability to enter stuff in, for $60, that's pretty darn cool, yeah? You've got the ability to control your keyboard instruments directly here from your mini keyboard. So there's a couple of options there. Again, if you're in the market for any of these, you can jump on over to studiolivetoday.com/gear. That one down there, that's going to take you to all of these. Final section here. This is specifically for folks who want to use their iPhone or iPad, because you might be thinking, Pete, your first setup that you talked about there had the iRig Pro I/O. This connects directly up to your Lightning port, and that's going to be cool for my iPhone and my iPad. What if I'm using an iPhone or an iPad with this USB interface? How do I connect up something like the Steinberg interfaces? How do these actually connect? Because they're USB and my iPhone's Lightning. Well, I'm glad you asked. And those of you that have been around the channel for a while can sing along with me. You need a Lightning to USB 3. Yes, the Apple Lightning to USB 3 camera adapter is what you need. You've got Lightning at one end, you've got USB and Lightning at the other end. You can power up your device, you can plug any USB devices in there, and this end goes into your iPhone or iPad, and you're good to go. Now, here's the thing. They sell these on eBay and Amazon, and they sell cheap versions that are non-Apple for about between $10 and $20. My recommendation is not to buy them. Your mileage may vary, but in my experience, they simply don't work. The reason that I have one of these handy with me all the time, and I have one right here in my little microphone bag, is, nearly have to sneeze. How unfortunate. Hey, that's the beauty of live. The reason I have one of these in with my USB microphone is that they are just so handy and they just work. First time, every time. Now, if you want to roll the dice and you want to pick up some of the cheaper ones, absolutely fine, more power to you. But if you want something that is going to be guaranteed to work out of the box, guaranteed to never be bricked because it's made by Apple, they get updated. There's actually an MFI, a made for iPod chip inside this that gets updated. When iOS gets updated, it will work, and it will work forever. So remember your economy of scale here. Think in terms of, hey, I have to buy this once and it will always work. Otherwise, you'll end up like me, and you'll have bought 3 or 4, 5, 10, $20 versions. You've spent more than $40, and you got stuff that doesn't work and frustrates you. You do not want to be in the middle of a face-melting guitar solo and have that dreaded, this accessory is not supported, pop up on your iPhone or iPad. So if you're a mobile creator, you need a Lightning to USB 3 adapter. I'm just going to keep preaching it, because otherwise I see too many people getting too frustrated with the knockoffs. The other final thing that I recommend if you're a mobile creator that will just complete the piece de resistance to your mobile setup is one of these. Yes, the powered USB hub. This is the one I use. It's from Tendac. The reason I can't show it is it's plugged in. It's always plugged in. And this allows you to plug in multiple stuff. So you might be thinking, Pete, you just said that in your setup here, I should have like a Steinberg interface, and then I should have like a microphone going into that, and then I should have a keyboard going in as well. How do I hook up more than one thing when I've only got one Lightning port? Well, the answer is a powered USB hub. And this one is the one that I use and recommend because it's $20. It is super reliable. I've had mine for more than 2 years. It just works out of the box. You've got 4 ports there, and on the front here you've got a charging only port. So you've got 4 data ports. You could plug in a MIDI keyboard, an audio interface, a USB flash drive, and what else? What else do I have plugged in? mouse and keyboard receiver. So yeah, you can plug 4 different things in and just control your whole studio from that one setup. So, and it works with USB microphones. It works anything USB that you can plug in that you can have multiple of, you can put in there. Now keep in mind, you can only have one audio input output device. So you can't go plugging in a USB mic. So you've got a USB mic like the Samsung and an audio interface. You can't plug both of those in at the same time. You have to take your pick and go with one or the other. But it is just so handy to be able to have that, because if you're thinking, oh, you know, I'm recording a guitar and then you're recording a mic and then you're recording a keyboard part, you're not swapping and switching cables. That's going to be annoying, and it's going to reduce the lifetime of your cables, because every time you pull a cable in and plug it back in again, you are slightly damaging it. It's like it's slowly dying, and you're slightly damaging it every time you do that. So powered USB hub for the win. There you have it. That is it. It's as simple as that. So if you've ever had the question, what gear should I use in my home studio? Now you've got the answer. And I do get this question a lot, saying, Pete, just tell me what to get. You can go and pick and choose and pick your own components and find out what's going to work for you. But if you just want a simple solution, down in the description, you've got the mobile setup, those 3 bits of kit that you need there. Or if you want the more full featured setup with your speakers and your keyboard, the 5 bits of gear there, plus the bonus 2 if you happen to be a mobile creator. Hope you found this useful. Once again, head down to studiolivetoday.com/gear if you do want to pick up any of this. They are affiliate links, which means they'll break off a chunk and send some of that to me. Thank you for your support. Happy creating.